Relative pronouns. Would you say who, which, or that? Hello and welcome. This is English with Jay, the channel where you get most grammar concepts of English simplified. Kindly like and subscribe. Let's find out whether each of the following sentences is correct or wrong. 1. The girl which won the race is my cousin. Is it correct or wrong? 2. The man who I gave the package to was very grateful. Correct or wrong? Yeah, the third one, try it. Okay, so this is the lady whose paintings are famous worldwide. Take it again. This is the lady whose paintings are famous worldwide. Correct or wrong? Yeah, you need to consider the spelling of whose. Check it out. It's apostrophe S. Now let's look at the objective of this lesson. Now, during this lesson, you will learn to identify relative pronouns and use them in sentences. What's a relative pronoun? A relative pronoun is that pronoun which serves as a placeholder and connects two sentences or ideas. What does that mean? To say a relative pronoun is a placeholder. Yes, let's look at it. Okay. Let's consider these sentences and combine them into one. The boy has traveled abroad. That's sentence A. We have B. The boy killed the goat. In the two sentences, you realize that their subject is the same. That is, they share a common subject. The boy in sentence A and the boy in sentence B. And so we say the two sentences have one subject. So to connect the two sentences together, we will have to look for the right pronoun that can do that job. And guess what? We have to select from a relative pronoun group. This means that aside from relative pronouns, the rest of the pronouns cannot serve as a placeholder. Good. So, remember, the choice of the relative pronoun will be determined by the type of noun that comes before the relative pronoun. So, in this case, when we decide to connect the two sentences, we will only do so by replacing the subject of sentence B, which is the boy, with who in the sense that it is the relative pronoun that occupies the subject position and also replaces a human entity. So we use who for human entity to refer to a human entity, and it's a subject pronoun. So that is that. Now, having replaced the boy in sentence B with who, then we have sentence B to be who killed the goat, and sentence A to be the boy has traveled abroad. That is, it hasn't been changed. However, B has now become who killed the goat. So, from the two sentences, it can be noticed that sentence B will only make meaning when it has been attached to sentence A, because without sentence A, we will not know the one we are talking about. And so, sentence B automatically becomes a dependent clause, and sentence A becomes an independent clause. So when you have a dependent and an independent clause, then it means that the dependent has to be attached to the dependent before a complete meaning can be realized. So to do this, then sentence A will have to contain sentence B, and that gives us the sentence, the boy who killed the goat has traveled abroad. The boy who killed the goat has traveled abroad, which means that we have managed to connect the two sentences into one by the use of who. This is what we mean by who serving as a placeholder, because who has been used to connect the two sentences together, and at the same time it refers to the boy. That is, it takes the place of the boy. So we can conclude that a relative pronoun introduces a relative clause, and it also provides additional information about the noun or pronoun mentioned earlier in the sentence. This is the job of a relative pronoun. So the noun or the pronoun described by a relative pronoun is what you call the antecedent. And the antecedent can refer to anything once it is a noun. So we can get the noun coming from animate group, inanimate group. So what are the relative pronouns in English? We have who, whom, whose, that, and which. Each of these pronouns is selected based on the nature of the noun that comes before them. Use who to describe an entity that is considered as human. Example sentence: the woman who lives next door is a pilot. The woman who lives next door is a pilot. Woman is a human entity, and so the correct relative pronoun to qualify it is who. Similarly, which describes objects, things, or animals. So let's look at the sentence example. The car which is red belongs to my uncle. The car which is red belongs to my uncle. The car is a thing or object, and so the correct relative pronoun that has been used to refer to it is which. How about that? For that, it's so easy and simple because that is used for both human and objects. Sentence examples: 1. This is the book that got missing. Book is a thing, and that refers to book. Sentence 2. The car that got broken has been fixed. The car that got broken has been fixed. The car is an object, so the correct relative pronoun is that. Let's jump to sentence 4. The girl that I phoned a minute ago is here. The girl that I phoned a minute ago is here. The girl is a human entity, and so we can use that to refer to it, and that the same thing applies to 3. This was the gentleman that I talked about. Gentleman is referring to a human entity, so you could conveniently use that to refer to gentleman. So that, as I said, is so easy to deal with because it goes for both human and non-human entities. Now, how about whose? We use whose to give an idea that the noun mentioned earlier possesses or has something. We use whose to show that the noun mentioned earlier possesses or owns something, or something belongs to that noun. So it could be a human or non-human entity. Let's consider the example sentences. The boy whose parent came to the school has gone home. The boy is a human entity and the parents are the boys. The parents belong to the boys, the boy. And so the correct relative pronoun is whose. So example 2 reads, the dog whose leg got broken is receiving treatment. So whose is establishing the fact that the leg belongs to no other thing than the dog. Okay, so I have provided numerous sentences for students to play around them. And let me see your comments in the comment section. I wish you all the best. Take your time, practice all of them. You pause the video, then you practice the example sentences. They are carefully selected and prepared. All right. Kindly subscribe to my channel. Bye.